Have you ever been warned about something and ignored it because you thought you knew better? An ancient king once did exactly that. He had power, wealth, an empire that stretched farther than the eye could see, and one simple warning that could have saved everything. He laughed at it. Within months, he lost his throne, his people, and his name was nearly erased from history. Let me tell you this story. Long ago, in a powerful ancient kingdom, there lived a king admired by many and feared by most. His armies were strong. His treasuries were full. His enemies kept their distance. From the outside, his reign looked unshakable. But inside the palace, something dangerous was growing. Confidence had slowly turned into arrogance. One evening, the king summoned his advisors. Among them was an old counselor, quiet, observant, and rarely invited to speak. The kind of man people ignore until it's too late. That night, the old counselor broke his silence. He warned the king that the kingdom was changing, that neighboring states were uniting, that the people were growing restless, and that pride had blinded the throne. His advice was simple: prepare, listen, change course. The room fell silent. Then the king laughed. He reminded everyone of his victories, his wealth, his divine right to rule. "What threat could touch me?" he said. "I have conquered worse." The counselor tried once more. "Greatness does not fall from attack," he warned. "It falls from neglect." The king dismissed him. That was the warning, the only one he would ever receive. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. The king grew more confident. He raised taxes to build monuments to himself. He ignored reports from the borders. He silenced dissent instead of listening to it. From the palace, everything still looked peaceful, but beyond the walls, alliances were forming, trade routes were closing, soldiers were defecting. Still, no one dared tell the king. They remembered what happened to the last man who tried. Then, one morning, the warnings became reality. A neighboring force marched toward the capital, not as scattered enemies, but as one united army. The king was shocked. He called for his generals, but they argued. He demanded loyalty, but hesitation filled the room. The confidence that once held the kingdom together was gone. By the time the army reached the gates, the people refused to fight. Why defend a king who never listened? The capital fell faster than anyone expected. The king fled the palace he once ruled from the highest throne. His treasures were seized, his statues torn down, his name struck from public record. The old counselor was found later, alive but silent. When asked what went wrong, he said only this: "The king heard the warning. He simply believed it was meant for someone else." And that is the part of the story most people miss. This isn't really a story about an ancient king. It's a story about human nature. Warnings rarely arrive as disasters. They arrive quietly, uncomfortably, from voices we don't want to hear. And confidence has a dangerous habit. It convinces us that past success guarantees future safety. The ancients understood something we often forget. The moment you stop listening is usually the moment you begin to fall. That king didn't lose everything because he lacked power. He lost everything because he ignored humility, because he mistook silence for safety and pride for strength. So here's the question this ancient story leaves us with. What warning are you laughing at right now? What quiet signal are you dismissing because things still look fine? History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it echoes, and those echoes are always loudest after it's too late.
Sit with that thought for a moment, because this story was never forgotten.